This is Listen Lakeland, the show that keeps you up to date on all the things that make our city a great place to live, work, and play. Today's host is the founder of Well Done Development, with over 30 years of experience in educational leadership and management. At The Well, a collaborative workspace, she has established a solid reputation for helping businesses and organizations promote their message through digital marketing and branding strategies. Please welcome your host, Dr. Sallie Stone.
Welcome to the good life.
Thank you so much for joining us on today. I'm Dr. Sallie Stone, and it's great to be hosting this month's episode of Listen Lakeland. This show is an extension of Lakeland Vision. For over 2 decades, Lakeland Vision has been a voice for the citizens of Lakeland, working with community stakeholders to create a bright future for our city. Today on Listen Lakeland, I am joined by some phenomenal women. We're going to be sharing information with you on today that I know is going to be enlightening and empowering. In fact, this is National Women's Business Month, and my guests on today have done an amazing job in making sure they have been successful. So I'd like to start with having them introduce themselves, and we'll start to my right, Miss Ivalisse Gonzales. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, thank you for the invitation and for having me here. I am a store manager at TD Bank, and I've been in banking since 1997. So actually, I did everything since teller, financial advisor, assistant manager, and now I'm managing the store at the South Lakeland. But what I do and what I'm passionate about is helping small business, helping those that need help. What we do best is to guide them, offer them the service that they need, and like a teacher, right? Bringing this kid, like the kindergarten, the process of teaching what they need to do for them to understand and actually achieving their goals.
Absolutely.
Making them achieving their goals, financial goals.
Thank you so much for that. And I can definitely attest to the amazing skill set that you have. And thank you for being here today. My next guest is Miss Tari Kazelle. Introduce and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Sallie. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here with you guys today. My name, again, is Tari Kazelle. I am a financial professional with the World Changers. At the World Changers, we empower you with financial education and implementation with the belief that if you can change your finances, you can change your world.
Awesome and amazing.
I have been in the financial space for about a little over 10 years.
Wow.
Love working with individuals, women, families. It really doesn't matter. It's just getting that financial education out there to make sure it's not being taught in the school system. So we really want to get it out there and make sure that everyone knows how to use money. It's a tool.
Absolutely.
And you need to know how to use it.
And I've had the opportunity to sit in some of your sessions, and you do an amazing job with helping to understand and break it down. So as Ivalisse said, when we are students and we are in school and you have those young ones, being able to explain it in a way that makes sense is really good. So thank you for that. And my guest, Miss Sheritta Denson, why don't you explain or tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Again, thank you for having me here. I'm Dr. Sheritta Denson, and I am the program manager of Catapult Lakeland. I am also the events chair of SCORE of Central Florida. So I'm really passionate about small business development. I love to help people organize their business, set goals. I help them to hold themselves accountable for the things that they have to get done. And I also connect individuals and their businesses to resources to get them past their challenges so that their business can scale and grow.
Wow. So this is going to be an amazing opportunity to chat and talk, and I have indeed had the pleasure of interacting with each of these wonderful women and in the work that they do and seeing them help so many. So I thought it would just be great in celebration of National Women's Business Month to talk a little bit about what we do and how we do. So let's get into it. So Sheritta, since you just introduced yourself, I'm going to come to you with the first question. And again, this is a candid conversation, and I know that we're going to shed some light on some interesting things as we have our conversation today. So what have you done to overcome challenges that women sometimes face in business?
Sure. What I've found, one of the main things I found to be really important is to have a network of both men and women, whether that be within your organization or outside. I was just speaking with a couple of women earlier today, and what people sometimes fail to realize is people do business with people they feel comfortable with. Yes. And so it's so important to continue to network. And so people tend to, when they feel comfortable, it's either because they've met you personally or they are comfortable with their friend who has now referred you. And so that's how I know I've gotten past a lot of challenges, is, getting past myself, which is difficult to go out into the community and have a lot of conversations with people, but that is how I've gotten a lot of things accomplished.
And that actually speaks to just the concept of building relationships. And I've often heard it said, and I mean, Ivalisse or Tari, you may want to jump in here, that relationships is the new currency.
Absolutely.
It's the core of everything we do. It doesn't matter whether it's a business or it's a foundation of life, really. If you don't have relationships, whether it's in business or friendships outside of business, your relationships at home, nothing's really going to work. That's where you find yourself lost and lonely, I think. And so I know with NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, an organization I've been a part of for about 8 years now, they actually have a mastermind. And so to your point, Sheritta, having that core group of people that you can go to, and the mastermind is just that. It's a core group of women where we come together once a month and we're able to talk about our businesses and be able to bounce ideas and things off of each other. And it's all confidential. It all stays there. Excellent. And so we can trust each other because we've actually signed an agreement to say, hey, stays here and we want to talk about our businesses and what do you think about this and what do you think about that, and if you had this experience, or who do you know that can help point me in my right direction.
Well, you said something that absolutely put a pin in, and that is NABO, National Association of Women Business Owner, and I am fortunate to be a part of that esteemed organization. And indeed, it does bring women together, because sometimes I would say, and you can, give me your take on what I'm about to say, is that, challenges occur when relationships are not solid. And so we sometimes feel a little nervous when we're in situations and we're not really sure who we're around, or if what we're going to say is going to be received or heard or confidential if it need be. So what do you think, Ivalisse? Do you think even in banking, which is, a huge deal, what about relationships?
For us also, it's very important, because being in relationships, building those strong relationships are going to help us to be able to provide that help, that guidance, and then the customer is going to be receptive to accept that guidance. When you are not in a relationship, you're afraid to see what are the things that you are lacking, that you don't know, and accept that you really don't know, that you need help. But when you are in that space that you feel comfortable, that you feel that empathy, and that you know that the person, you can trust her, you build that strong relationship. That's the whole deal right there. And for banking is super important, build strong relationships.
Absolutely. And, as an educator, and most who know that I was a principal in my previous years, getting young people to really hear you and be able to engage with you starts with building the relationship that's going to make them feel safe. And I think you said compassionate and nurturing. And we were talking a little bit earlier, Sheritta, remember, before we were setting up, and we had an amazing story shared with us today. And I'm not going to pull it in, but I think we all were inspired what we heard about, relationships being formed. But you were speaking earlier, Sheritta, about in your day-to-day job role that sometimes you have to pull on that strong foundation of nurturing, which is really kind of a gift for women. I'd say it that way. Do you all think that women and the way that we do business helps to navigate or overcome some of those challenges or barriers? Do you think we possess any specific skills? I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but what do you think about that?
I would say absolutely. I know one of the statistics, and I'm not going to get the numbers exactly right, but most women, if they're widowed, will change their financial advisor within a year because it's really, men are more pick up the phone, get an answer, put it down, change this, do that, and move on. And women want more of that nurturing.
Yes,
they
ma'am.
want to sit down with a glass of wine and say, what do you think about this? Well, I think this, and they want to get to know you better and you to get to know them better. It's not just a transaction. And so I think it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of what we do.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, and I want to say that that's why relationships are so important, because sometimes you don't want to deal with a computer over the phone, an automatic system. You want a human. That's why it is so important for us to be there as human, with the empathy, with our feelings, with our opinions, and actually, human to human. And that's the difference there in a relationship. That's why it's so important, and that's the basic.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Sheritta, did you want to add anything to that?
I'll just add that, yes, I think that women approach those situations differently. So for me, when I'm having conversations with different businesses, I do ask more about them personally up front, and that sets the tone for the rest of our relationship. And oftentimes, men and women, but the men especially, are kind of caught off guard when I say, tell me about yourself. But when I do that, I find out so much more about why they're even in business. And then that from there guides the conversation, that guides goal setting, that hones in on what is most important to them about their business that they maybe even have lost track of, because why did you start this to begin with? Okay, now we can figure out where we're going.
That's
Absolutely.
that's so spot on, and I would say that is indeed a skill set that as women, as we continue to grow and become more experienced, that we can manage that and use that to our advantage. So on the flip side of that, and Tari, I'm going to ask you this question first. Do you think that women face more scrutiny in business than their counterparts, than men do?
I think it really depends on probably the industry that you're in and that you're part of. I think that definitely in my industry, in the financial industry, if you look back when I started 10 years ago, and you ask most people what a financial advisor looked like, it was a white male, 55 years or older. That's changing. And an organization I was with for a long time before World Financial Group was doing a lot of that changing, just making it more of a diverse workforce, because we knew that the education wasn't there from school or anything else, and we had to get the education out there. Well, in order to get the education out there, people are going to sit down with people, like you say, that they know, like, and trust. But if they look like you, they sound like you, it's going to be easier to get them to know, like, and trust you. So bringing in financial advisors that have different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and everything else, different languages, helps you get all that financial education out there across the masses. Because, as you know, we're a melting point, or a melting pot, right? There's so many different. And when I was with the first company that I was with, we had 7 or 8 different languages that was spoken with all of the different financial advisors that were in the group.
Well, and you know, Tari, you and I have had this conversation around many different topics, but similarly, I just kind of want to ask you to expand on this a little bit. In your experience, what do you see as one of the most key things that you have to work with women on? What do they care about the most when it comes to the financial advising arena?
Well, I think for women, I think for anybody, but I think mainly women, because we tend to live longer than men, it's outliving your money. Is there going to be enough of it there for me for as long as I live? And that's really where the core of what we do comes in, is sitting down with you to find out, where are you right now? Where do you want to be a year from now? What does retirement look like? Have you thought about it? And sometimes we're so busy living day to day, we haven't even thought about retirement. And that retirement can, lots of times when I sit with somebody, well, I make $5,000 a month right now. I think I could live on $7,000. Okay. You really want to sit back and think about that? What do you want your retirement to look like? How far away is it? And do you want it to look better than your lifestyle right now? And then you've got to factor in inflation and all of these things. And then again, because we're living so much longer, what if something happens and you end up in a nursing home facility, those types of things? So long-term care, we have to really, really stop and think about what we're doing day to day. And is that money growing? And are we just chasing it all the time? So it's putting it where you can actually get it to work for you instead of chasing it. And I think that's what it is. Is it going to be there for me to take care of me, and am I going to have enough of it, or am I going to outlive my money?
Such powerful information. And so this would be a good opportunity for me to plug World Changers and what Tari does. And I'm sure you'll be able to give us, give information where people can find you, because I'm sure there are people listening that are going, you know what, now that I think about it, I need to find out what I'm going to do, because there is just a real world thought that I may outlive my spouse, or I may, not have everything in place that needs to be in place for me to be able to live the kind of retirement or long-term life. And we are living longer. So there is that
average
point.
life expectancy is about 85 years old.
Wow. So I wonder what would be the age that, women are going to stop working. We never stop working. I think that we are constantly on that grind, as they call it, and working and trying. So, but even with that, we work hard. We work, we've heard the statistics, and I don't want to focus in on what women make versus what men make. We do know that there is a disparity in pay between men and women, but we still have a huge work life, a work balance. And so my question to you, Ivalisse, is how do you balance? What are some things that you do or you would recommend people do to balance that work life?
I have to say that I have to learn how to say and when to say no. Because we as women, as this nature thing that we have, we want to say yes to everybody. We want to please everybody, and that at the end overwhelm us. Then we find ourselves that we are not achieving our goals because we don't have time for us. So the first thing that I learned was to say no. It's very difficult, and to who, when, and to say no. And make that space for myself early in the morning to see, okay, how my day is going to look like. Set up those goals. What are the things that are going to prioritize my time? Take time to relax, calm myself, and really take care of my inner self.
Yes.
Be happy with myself, with who I am, and be able to understand things that I can change. And embrace that, love myself.
Yeah.
And then after that, go out and do my thing and make my customers happy, be able to help them achieve their dreams. But we cannot provide what we don't have inside. Like when we talk and when we help people, sometimes people can see us, people can read us. And we need to understand that we have to be in peace and happy with ourselves in order to provide that guidance to other people and to be, because we are actually telling them what to do with their lives, with their businesses. But what are we doing with ours?
Absolutely. That is so amazing. And so, again, this is National Women's Business Month. And as we talk about how we all approach things and what we do that's important, I got to give a shout out to Mr. Andrew Gash. I have to. He is the phenomenal technology behind what we do. And so we thank you. He's the only guy in the room, so I know he's, but he told us a wonderful story about his recent nuptials. And at this point, he's been married 6 months, probably next month will make 6 or 5 months next month. And I just want to say, he gave us a beautiful story, and it really kind of captured how important it is that we engage in self-care, that we have a good work-life balance, that we work on relationships and that we build those relationships and that we go through those challenges. Sheritta just brings to my mind, I know that you have been in a new position, an actual promotion. So yay for that. Yeah. How has that been for you and just trying to adjust all the things you do? Of course, I know you as a nonprofit leader in that industry as an entrepreneur, and then your new role working at Catapult. Have you had some time to do self-care?
Yes. So I love to be organized. I love a list and I love a calendar. And initially I felt bad about realizing now, figuring out the work-life balance. So I am intentional about scheduling time with my kids, literally scheduling it. So I'll put it on the calendar. And that's the only way that I can operate, or else things fall through the cracks. So on my work calendar, on my phone calendar, I have to put, if I have to get someone to dance or to basketball, those things have to be scheduled out. And I felt bad about it at first because I'm like, I'm scheduling time with my kids. What type of mom does that? It should be easy to come, but it's not easy to come first. I have so many different things that I do in life that that's what's going to make it all work, is putting it on my calendar. The other thing that's really important to me that I had to learn over time is I do not put my work email on my phone. When I go home,
you go home.
I go home. And I had to learn that. I used to, I was at a job in the past where I was always on it. I'll get back to people at 10 o'clock at night. I'm responding because I'm the person that's going to respond. No, not anymore.
Yeah.
And I do, but I make sure that when I'm at work, I am doing my job well, so that makes it okay.
See, I did not tell you to say well, but that falls right in line. Doing it well does mean that we pay attention to the priority, which is, who we are. Because if we are not in a good space, how in the world can we help someone else? And
exactly.
And so, did you want to respond to that?
I just think it's being present with whatever you're doing. Yeah. I don't think you'll ever truly have a work-life balance, but you have to be present at the time of what you're doing. So like you say, scheduling it. Now you're with your kids, the phone's off, this is happening, and this is where I'm spending my time. But I went through that for a long time where I had a lot of trains and stuff in the evening, and my daughter would call, and I'm like, I'm always on the phone doing something else, and I can't talk to her. And so you just have to, like you say, either schedule it if that works for you, but make sure that when you're in the thing that you're doing, you're present at that moment.
Yeah, I think that is so important, and I think just like you all have said, I would do the same thing. When you are an entrepreneur and you are a new business, it's like having a new baby. It's like a newborn. I mean, you're up at night, you're attending to that business because it is so very important, and it's hard to say no. It's hard to not, put things aside or put things on the back burner. But I think, as you all have said so eloquently, I have also learned to, take some time for myself. Those things are going to be there the next day. You can respond, at 7 a.m. as opposed to, 10 or 11 at night. And I would feel guilty also. I know a lot of the times I would not want to go on a trip. I didn't want to go to enjoy myself somewhere, going on a vacation or a trip, but that does not help. In fact, I think it sometimes creates a bigger challenge because you don't get an opportunity to decompress or to, just take a breath and enjoy the moment that you're in.
I think the one thing that technology has provided us is the ability to be able to go on vacation and work from anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I know we were on vacation with both of our kids in Cincinnati back in March, and I got an email that somebody wanted some life insurance, and I was like, I need to take care of this. Everybody else was off kind of doing their thing. My son had something he had to do with his business. My husband had something that he had to do with his business. And I said, great, I'll just pencil mine in right here. Got on the phone, got it done, got it taken care of, and was able to do it and go on with vacation too.
Yeah.
So technology really is helping all of us to kind of cope with all of that.
Absolutely.
The whole AI thing. I don't like it in some respects because I don't like the bot thing, like we need to be personal and have that relationship. But I love the fact that I can tell it to write me a letter and it does it in 2 seconds and I don't have to sit down and put all that together.
Now that's funny because I am a journalist, my first degree.
Right, I know.
And so AI was not my friend. I'm like, how in the world? But what convinced me obviously was my husband Mario, because he is a strong proponent. And, I started looking at some of the things that he would come up with. I'm like, well, that's not bad. So I think it's a balance. I'm not totally sold over.
No,
but
I'm not either. Like I said, I like that personal relationship.
Right.
I don't want to get those bot texts, or even when I get the phone call and you just know you got to wait 2 seconds and you just know it's a bot coming.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't have time.
So this has been an amazing conversation, but we are getting close to the end. I'm, making sure I'm staying on track because we can talk, how us ladies do. We like to spill the good tea. But just as we begin to close out, I'd like for each of you to share a little bit about what is your jam? What do you do to give yourself that sense of, peace or that sense of joy in what you do? I'll start. I think that for me is taking the time to listen to good inspirational music. I love, worship music, and I love praise music, and I love inspirational and affirmative music that just helps me get over that little, if I can be having a bad day, sometimes I'll just put my headsets on, or I find my my song, which might change by the month, but depending on the month that it is in, that it just gives me that energy, that lift. So that's what I do. I love to listen to music, and it does help soothe my soul when I need to. So Sheritta will come to you, and then we'll come on around.
So I've joined a new book club. Oh. It's a group of ladies, and in the past, the book clubs I've been a part of, we were more similar, and the style and the theme of the books we read were very similar. This group, we have decided that whatever your thing is, we're going to all agree, and we're going to read it that month. And it has been amazing because I've been reading things that I would have never read before, and they've been great. And and it's mostly all fiction. So it's just truly enjoyable because I deal with so much nonfiction every day. Leadership books, that sort of thing. And so that's my thing. I like to listen to a lot of books. It makes it easier when I'm driving and that sort of thing. But I've been enjoying the ladies, and that's what I do.
Okay, Tari, you should.
I actually like to garden. I like plants. I like to just get out and get my hands in the dirt and play with my flowers. And mostly I have a lot of succulents, different things. I like things that are weird and different. I do like to shop a lot, though, too. So.
And Ivalisse?
I have to say that I love inspirational music as you do, and I learned now to journal. Before, I just listened to that, but didn't pay that much attention because my mind wasn't listening. But now I pay attention and I journal, and that is bring me peace. But something that brings me joy and happiness, and I am very bubbling person, is spend time with my grandchildren. I love to spend time with them, especially with the girls too. We dance, we play, they do my hair, nails, everything, and I let them do whatever. And that also is like medicine to my soul.
Wow, such awesome opportunities to make sure that we spend time taking care of us. And so we're going to wrap it up. We're going to, get to the end of this conversation. I hope you do something really awesome this month as we celebrate National Women's Business Month. I'm sure that you all will do so. I think that as long as we take time to spend time learning and growing and developing and trying something new. I tried my thumb at gardening. The most I can do is orchids. Put a piece of ice on it.
I kill orchids.
You do? Oh my goodness, they're hard to kill.
I have to say, the one that you gave us.
It didn't last long. That's the only thing that I can do. Well, you know what? What you can do is you can read a book about it. There you go. Put on some music and try to see what that works. And then, plant something that you can do. Whatever it is that you do, just take some time to enjoy and relish in the accomplishments. The challenges, they're going to come. but we also can take time to support each other, rejoice with each other, and laugh with each other, and when we have to, cry with each other, because that's just who we are. Thank you all so much for being a part of this amazing conversation. This has truly been a joy for me, and so I'm going to thank you for tuning in to Listen Lakeland. Your feedback is valued, and we encourage you to head over to www.lakelandvision.org to participate in our monthly survey related to today's show topic.
I said, welcome to the good life.
Listen Lakeland is brought to you as a collaborative project between Lakeland Vision, the City of Lakeland, and Hall Communications, a community working together to provide an exceptional quality of life. Want to see the video version of the show? Check it out at lakelandvision.org. Thank you for being with us.